Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to CME Sports Lighting Rugby Field at Brighton, where we spent a couple of weeks this year. I'll be joined tonight by Alex Rockaborough. Alex, how the devil are you?
Not bad, Dave. Hope you're doing well.
Is there any better way to spend a Friday night than up a scissor lift? Supplied by Mark Pickard, who's just having a chat to us as he wanders over. Thank you very much to Pickard Hire Centre for what we've essentially our world for the next 2 games.
No, really looking forward to it. I'd like to have this scissor lift in the park. Take a few beers up here would be great.
Yeah, it would be lovely. I mean, we can almost see the sea from here. If we went up higher, I reckon we could see the water. So we're getting ready. Tasmania are already out and about. The Black Falcons, South Australia, the return of the Black Falcons. I was thinking on my way here, when was the last time they played? 2012?
I'm going to say, yeah, 2012. Was that against
It was
the
against that was the President's 15.
Okay, yep.
But there was a tournament against Tassie in the Northern Territory that was at Woodville, and it rained throughout the whole thing, and Woodville was a bog. I'm pretty sure it was 2012. If anybody's watching and anybody can let me know when that was, then please let us know. I'm sure it was 2012.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a long time ago. So I'm really grateful that we've been able to get it started again. Black Falcons as a kid, as a junior, it's something you look up to play, and it's a great pathway. So to get it up and going again is really, really special.
Yeah, the Emerging States Championship is what we are at, and there's 6 games over the weekend. Tonight it will be South Australia taking on Tasmania, and then followed up with Victoria Country versus the Northern Territory. Interesting aside, I haven't got team sheets for either of them yet. It could be an interesting one for the second one. We'll make up nicknames. That's how we roll.
Nicknames it is, yeah.
That is
really
how we
good
roll.
at that.
We're still waiting for the Black Falcons to come out. A little bit of gamesmanship. As they just make the Tassie boys wait.
Interesting moves from South Australia there, not to come out into the pitch.
Have to be honest though,
win.
Perfect night for it. I mean, if you're going to be stood out in the middle of a pitch, now's not a bad one. So out come the Black Falcons. Nice to see the new jerseys. We've not seen them just yet. This is the first time that I've seen one. Your thoughts on the swag so far this year?
I like them. I couldn't really picture the Black Falcons jersey from the last cut, from 2012.
There's actually one down there, away to our left. Manny Connor is wearing it.
Oh, yep.
That is the old Black Falcons jersey. This is the new one. I quite like it. Old Meals have done a decent job on it. I'm going to do everything I can to remain as impartial as possible. I'm going to do everything I can, but it's going to be hard because I'm excited about this. It has been a good number of years since we've seen the Black Falcon crest on a jersey.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's also good seeing, throughout the year, through the season, you see some good players playing. But when it comes to Black Falcons, it's really good to see, your best of the best out there. And I'm glad we could get it going again, because tonight will be good rugby. Don't obviously know much about Tasmania, but, they could come out and surprise us. But it's a great night for rugby.
Of course, we are being brought to you by Spacequake Sports on Facebook. If you are over in Tassie and you want to let us know something about any of these Tassie players, then let us know. We're looking forward to seeing them. I think they've got the Tassie Devil as their crest. So I don't know whether we'll call them that, but we are about ready to go. We are nearly there. There's a couple of South Australian, what's the word I'm looking for? There's some players out there playing for Tassie. There's a couple of South Aussies who've jumped in to help. And we are about ready to go. The lights are on in CME Sports Lighting Field. And we are underway. So Tassie will have first bite of the cherry. So they'll look to work into midfield. Ataleo will be at half-back. Bright orange boots for Ataleo. That'll help us out as we go. Tackle made by Chris Slight. Half-back combination comes from Elizabeth. Tassie will start to make their way forward. Now they will look to spread. A little bit of a show and go. Dealt with by a couple of Falcons in midfield. Ataleo again will give the service. Good continuity from Tasmania to start us off. Nice little pop ball out the corner. Gave it to Lean, the captain. And we will see Loper. He will lope forward. And they will come down that blind side again. Walton will meet him with the assistance of Dawes. Fleetwood Piper nearly got the hands on and got it out. That's a Leo, and then it will come back inside. Curtis Woolridge, right, wearing the number 18 shirt, making that challenge. But Tasmania kept hold of it and made their ground as they go forward. Now the little kick. First chance we get to see Meredith on a counter-attack. Now the Falcons will have ball in hand. Mattin will pick it up and tidy it up. First chance to see what the game plan from Snoop Jackson is. Out to Walton. Walton will shift it on. Found Fraser Murrison. Slight had to climb a ladder for it. Manages to pop it off. We'll find McKinley. Meredith. Sambrook. He will look to run that channel that he does so well for Burnside. Hands it off to Bartlett. Slight again. We'll find Adcock. Slight. Sloops it out to Mattin. Then Mattin will send it one more to Gatehouse. Gatehouse will put his foot down. He'll run away from the first one. Then he will come inside. Has support. Does Gatehouse need it? He is going to try and go all the way. Over the 22. Chase comes. Is there any pop-off? No. Support is there for the Falcons. Mattin wants to go quickly. Brought to ground. Now they will go. Meredith sends it to Fleetwood Piper. One more to Bartlett, and Bartlett will go over in the corner. First blood to the Black Falcons.
Nice red undies there from Gatehouse. Great attacking opportunity. Thought he probably could have pinned the ears a bit more and gone under the sticks, but good backing up from the Black Falcons there, and one phase later score in the corner.
Yeah, and that's how you want to start. And you didn't get a word in edgeways. That is, what, 3 minutes, nearly 4 minutes gone.
Of just free-flowing rugby.
And they turned over, and I saw McKinley back in the pocket, and I wondered whether they were going to go. And they went the big looping pass out to that left-hand side. And it looks like Chris Slight is going to start with the kicking tonight. That's always the thing about rep rugby, isn't it? We talked about kicking in the grand final and where are you going to get your kickers from. There's a couple out there. Kurt McKinley can kick. Obviously, Chris Slight can be there. We've got on the bench, there's Joel Plummer as well, who kicks for Brighton. So there's people all over the place. We are starting to get some. James Batchelor says pretty sure the coach and team manager are playing for Tassie. I can confirm the team manager definitely is. There is another one going around though. Samuela Loper at halfback, so might have been given the team sheet wrong. I definitely have Farley Ataleo. So Slight will send that towards goal, and it just pushed it a little bit, so it's just be 5-0.
I think the best rule in rugby with kicking is you get to have a shot at goal first. If you miss, you pass it to the next bloke, and then you work your way back.
I'm just looking out there. Kurt McKinley will probably be next in line.
Yep.
You would think. I think Carl Galloway kicks a little bit as well, but McKinley definitely is next in line. But he likes the ones straight out in front from about 60.
It's hard too because you've got Jack Campion out there and he'll have any opportunity to take a shot.
Good restart from Tasmania. Dropped it right on the 10. We did see Campion rise. Knocked on. So what can Tassie do now? So Tassie's recycle has been pretty good so far. Into midfield again. That's a Leo out to the right-hand side. Leo will drop it back inside. Everybody's lying to the right, not really many options. Then they'll go the Gregan ball, the big fella Loper. Again, they just look on that right-hand side, just trying to suck the Black Falcons in to create the numbers out to the left-hand side. They're going to go right again. You'd think this spread will start to come soon. Now they will go. There is space out here. They're going to put Vaya one on about 4. What can he do? Fleetwood Piper is there. Fleetwood Piper hits him. Ball is coming back for Tassie though. Lovell will look for a little bit of space. Held up, there's the maul call. There we go, nice quick maul call. We talked about it in the grand final, it's there. No fighting your knees to ground on that one.
Good attack there from Tasmania, just unfortunate to lose it there. But, you know, they're bringing out some attack, Tasmania, so it'd be interesting to see how they go from here. Obviously everyone's up and energetic, but, you know, comes to the 50th minute, can they still attack like that?
First scrum of the day, we get to have a look at it. Front row for South Australia with Tim Dawes, Kieran Sambrook and Curtis Woolridge, right? Taking on Sam Loper, Aaron Weiner and Isia Taulaupa. Now they will look out to this side. Galloway tries to get away, can't get away. McKinley will sit in the pocket. Little pick and go. McKinley still sat in the pocket. Decide to go midfield to Walton. Walton will just straighten, take on Weiner. Galloway tries to snipe again, nothing there. Tasmania have done well, putting a little bit of a short leash on him so far. Hands off, straight down. First penalty of the day. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to South Australian rugby, welcome to the left boot of Kurt McKinley. I've talked him up now, he's going to mess this up, but he could go 22 to 22. Doesn't quite get hold of it, and it's gone over my head. I wasn't far away from taking that one on the chest.
Good kick there, good pressure reliever there from Kurt McKinley.
So the lineup will be down in front of us. Kieran Sambrook will throw the ball in. And again, we talk about this stuff. We talked about all collegians and their lack of jumping options. Get to a rep level, you've got more than one.
Definitely.
Tasmania have stolen it though.
Plenty of tall timber there for South Australia.
Into midfield to Taulaupa. And it will find its way out to Daniel. Didn't get much. Tassie now again will come to this near side. I think that is the manager, the number 4, James Holman. Ataleo will send it in midfield. Finally, the captain.
He's still the advantage on.
Advantage to Tasmania. It's just... It is bullnose rugby at the moment from the man in green and yellow. Green and gold? Green and gold for Tassie?
Yeah, green and gold there. Yep, definitely. Green, gold and red.
No advantage. 21 offside. Shot.
The shot for goal.
Points.
Your thoughts were, what, nearly 10 minutes, 9.5 minutes into this, nearly 10 minutes, your thoughts so far?
Great game, you know, one line out, maybe 2 scrums. It's been good attacking rugby, but in saying that, you've got to play 80 minutes. So I think we're going to see a few more errors start to creep in as we get to half time. But if we can keep playing at this speed and intensity, that's great for the rugby and great for the spectators.
It is a wonderful evening. I'm not entirely sure what the temperature is, but it's not too chilly. Haven't had to go to the old jacket just yet.
No, that sea breeze hasn't quite come through yet and started to freeze us. So
Josh May will take the first shot at goal for Tasmania. Pushed it. Tell as soon as it left the boot. Meredith decided to field it, and then he will put it down for the 22.
22. Make sure everyone's behind, yeah?
So Galloway will restart us. Haven't really got into any level of rhythm, the Falcons, but as soon as they got hands on ball, they did something with it at the very least. May will look to counter-attack. Net by Sambrook and Adcock. Halfback gets there, Ataleo, and then he will go into midfield. Anthony Lean has put his hand up for a fair amount of work. A little bit isolated. Against that back row, he's always going to have problems. Martin didn't beat the clean out, but it has been turned over. Isolation leads to penalties or turnovers. Lots and lots of space. Adcock, lots of space. Now May will get back there and cover off some of it. Slight, McKinley, he will carry it to the line. Oh, nearly went to ground. Did go to ground for the deliberate knock on.
No attempt.
Just very, very close. Very, very close to having that one intercepted. It's that fine line between delay and intercept, isn't it?
Very much so. Black Falcons did really well there to weather the attack from Tasmania and then get quick turnover ball, and that's where they're going to be dangerous. And in that sense, that ball's got to go maybe a split second earlier, and then you've got the blokes on the outside to attack.
Well, Dave Vessels, the coach of the Melbourne Rebels, was here a couple of weeks ago around on the grand final. And he talked about teams don't plan for turnovers. What do we do straight away from a turnover? And you were pointing frantically at the acres of green behind. And I think that's something that clubs certainly will start to look at as the future goes. Slight again. Showed inside, then went. Has runners on the shoulders. One of them is Adcock. Adcock runs into a little bit of traffic. And Tassie will get away with one because Slight had gone.
Accidental, not a scrum.
Brendan Griffiths has got a fan. Shout out to Caitlin Moles, who says that that Griffith guy for Tassie is a beauty.
Hey, Black, just
I mean, he's been playing okay.
Yeah.
He's having a blinder so far.
So Tassie will have the ball just outside the 22. So exit play is reduced somewhat. Free kick, oh, and he's off. He nearly lost it. Now we can go. What can Tassie do on the hoof? Holman will take it on.
Back.
Into midfield they go. Lean again. Looks like a turnover to the Falcons. Slight. McKinley. McKinley will just take it back in and try and settle it down. Sambrook fires it out. Then it will go out to Gatehouse again. Gatehouse will put it on the boot. Might hold up. Does hold up, and it'll be a 22. Campion got up a bit slowly. He was hit without the ball.
Yeah, pretty late there. Never had a look at the ball, the player from Tasmania there. I think he had all eyes on Jack.
Can the miss pass? I mean, he did his job. He took a defender out of the way.
Exactly. Draw and pass. Or draw and watch.
Hey, make sure everyone's behind you, yeah?
So it will be a 22. Jack Campion finally getting up there. I think he wants to go and talk to the referee, but I'm not sure he's capable at the moment.
Ooh, Jack getting a bit lippy early.
I'm the captain. Have they made... It will come all the way back. Dawes will find Meredith. Meredith will find Fleetwood Piper. He will have a look. Gets his head up nice and early. Fleetwood Piper will go straight. Takes a couple of defenders into it. Gets to ground eventually. McKinley will go into halfback. Finds Slight. Slight short ball to Sambrook. Met very hard at the gain line. Just gets those legs of his going. Makes his way into the Tasmania half. Meredith. Finally, someone will find that patch of green behind. Fleetwood Piper is chasing. It's just going to find its way in. Another 22. Repeat 22s are okay, though.
Yeah, you're going to get the ball back and be able to attack, but do you want to relieve your defenders, your front rowers, by putting it out there?
People asking whether there is a team sheet for this and a link somewhere. The team sheet should be on the Rugby AU app, the Rugby Link app. Search for the teams and you should find them. Another deep kick. Meredith will sit under it. Looks to shift it early. Goes into midfield. Another late pass and Mattin will pick it up, and he's just going to try and find a gap if there is any there. Manages to wriggle through a little bit of one. Galloway to Campion. Out to Walton. Walton threw it off the hands quick. Now Gatehouse will go again. Gatehouse will lose it forward. Tasmania will have a slight advantage. Counter ruck comes from the Falcons, but no advantage coming, and it will be a scrum.
Sub, thank you. Yep.
Blair Webber is a hit machine. That must be the number 6 who went for Mr. Campion.
I didn't see it as late. The player was in a legitimate attempt to catch the ball. Ball's gone straight through him.
Well, okay, that is a big story. Griffiths, it's only his 2nd season of rugby.
Oh, wow.
Playing rep rugby already. Well done, Mr. Griffiths. Wearing the number 14, so I think he's over on that far wing. Changing halfback, I think. Ataleo is over on the other side, getting some running repairs, I think. Owen Griffiths has come into that halfback role.
Versatile already after his 2 seasons.
Well, that's gone down very, very quickly.
Gents, gone far side.
Slowly, boys. Come on. You right, mate? You right, Ezra?
Referee's breathing a bit hard as well. I think his off-season started a little bit early, sucking in the big ones.
Do referees have a Mad Monday, Silly Sunday? Surely.
Oh, surely you do. Someone put a little stat up and you can't argue with it. The referees were the only team to have a team in every grand final.
Very much. Yeah, true. Yep.
Tassie with the scrum. Griffiths will go back. Takes his time. He's outside and he's gone on the full. So the Falcons will have a line out in a very, very strong position. Very deep line. Walton loses it off the top, but Callowell managed to sort it out. Find its way into midfield. Fraser Morrison had to tidy it up a little bit. Meredith fires it to Piper. Piper will look to beat the first one. Does. Gets it off to Bartlett. Bartlett had to pick it up off his shoelaces, but it has gone forward. You need Fleetwood Piper one-on-one. He's very good at offloading out the tackle, but you just haven't quite given him the time and the space that he wants just yet.
I think you get Kyle in that one-on-one position and you work to run off him, so it's you work off the ball there and then you bear the fruits of his labour.
So another Tassie scrum. They are outside again, so the kicking has to be to an area. Oh, very nearly stolen. Ended up in the Falcons side and then went back. Sounded like a touch. Fleetwood Piper does very, very well to stay in bounds. Then it will go to Meredith. Meredith showed, got himself a little bit isolated, popped off when he didn't really need to.
Gents, first black, then gold.
Just possibly a little bit of nerves, a little bit too excited.
Yeah, I think when you've got a flow on, you really want to push passes and stuff, but you've got to be smart. You're still in your first half here. The boys have done really well to give you a good platform of a scrum, and you've got a good attacking position there. So let's not think about pushing passes there. Just get it back to the halfway and look to attack again.
So a scrum almost stayed in front of us. We get to see this Brendan Griffiths kid. There is a decent-ish blindside here, if they want it. Penalty. Galloway was thinking about going quickly, but we've got the lead. It's early doors, still first half. Let's use McKinley and let's get back down into that corner.
His range from here is really the 5 metre.
You'd want it. You'd want it in driving ball range, definitely. And he delivers, you would think, to be about 6-7 metres out.
Yeah.
And that's
what you want.
There will be Tasmania coaches over there going, right, no penalties like in our own half, because they're just going to get punished by the left boot. Not only that, the teams who will watch this, the Victorian countryside and the Northern Territory side, will probably look at it as well and go, oh. Another disappointing line out though from the Falcons. Well, that looked a bit high. Got away with it. Timmy Dawes. Again, all the way into the back. Has to, under a huge amount of pressure. Does well to get out of it. Then we'll come on to this near side. Billy Vea will just get his legs going. Tasmania again looking to come out of their own half. Good defensive line speed from the Falcons. Just past the 20-minute mark. Rolled out of a couple of tackles, and then I think that's Sambrook who went for the jackal, and then they just looked to counter a big and powerful turnover from the Falcons. Morrison will go.
No feet.
And they will go left again. Adcock. He is met strongly.
Hands off.
Dawes. Walton. Showed inside, then we'll just go and settle it down. Slight. Just runs straight and is met big and hard by Blair Webber. McKinley. Meredith. Quick hands. Just missed. Line out. While we get ready for this line out, it will be, you made mention that both of the Black Falcons coaches, both forwards, they're not going to be very happy at the line out. I think it's 3 lineouts and no wins.
Definitely not. That's where you set your platform for everyone to go forward, and if you're missing your lineouts, you can't go anywhere.
And when you look at it as well, you've got Callum Walton and Jack Campion play for Burnside and Old Cols respectively. 2 very good driving maul clubs.
Very much so, yeah. So if you're not going to hit your throws, you can't really get that go forward. So I don't know what they do at half time. Do they swap it up, or they have to bring it in a bit tighter, maybe throw to the front?
It's just that time, I think, for Sambrook. But Sambrook and Walton should be okay. They play together at Clubland, so. Tasmania, now they will be able to clear. Pulls it slightly, so it's not a big loss for Tasmania at the moment.
No, definitely not.
I mean, they could win this one. Realistically, they could win this one.
Yeah, so out in full, so we'll go back.
Some big efforts in defence there from Tasmania. They're putting some big hits on, and that's really going to rattle the Black Falcons guys there. They're going to know that they're not going to go away too easy. But you've got to remember, with these efforts, you're going to get tired. So you just got to hold out and keep going, keep working your way up the field, and hopefully you'll be able to find a gap and some space.
No, line out set.
So it looks like they have Tim Matton too slow to get to the line out. That's old age, Timmy. I love Timmy. Looks like they have reduced it somewhat. Campion. Finally they win one. Now they're trying to get that maul going.
That's one's half.
Told to use it once. Slight. McKinley on the short ball. Runs at the gap. Door was shut very early on by the Tasmanian defenders. Walton shows, runs straight again. Defensively, Tasmania have been a brick wall so far. Little pick and drive to the left-hand side. Another one. Big shout to short.
Wait, on the line, gents.
Important not to get white line fever at that point. Great defensive line speed from the Tasmanians. Then Mattin, I think, he will go around, and Mattin will go over and he will score. Always sniping around the back of that ruck and maul and moves the point of attack. He just doesn't put his head down. So Timmy Mattin will score.
Some really good work there from the Black Falcons. Obviously starts with nailing their line out, which helped, throwing to the front there. Tasmania did well to break that maul, but then just chipping away at the Black Falcons. Sorry, the Black Falcons just chipping away there and managed to get breakthrough with the Mattin try.
Just listening to Mr. Campion have a chat.
Okay, it was hard from the angle, because the angle I saw there was an arm that came around, so I was like, yeah, but yeah.
I said I was talking to Jamie McGregor. Massive shout out to Jamie McGregor, who's in charge of referees, pretty much community referees throughout the whole of Australia. I was having a chat with him before, and he said, what do you think it'll be? When we talked about Shane Barr, who's here as well, who's just been employed by Rugby Australia, so congratulations to Shane Barr.
Congratulations, Shannon.
He came and refereed a game here. That one will go over, so 12 points to 0. But when Shane came to Onkaparinga, he said, what do I expect from the South Australian players? And he said, well, the first 20 minutes will be the quietest rugby you've ever refereed, because they don't know you. Once you hit 20 minutes and they've got to know you, then things will ramp up. And it's kind of how it was. I don't think Jack Campion spoke to him until lap 1. That's the first time he's spoken to him.
Definitely, but you've got to be careful there, because you get a new ref, you don't really know how far you can take it. You're going to take it a step too far and be marching back 10 metres.
It's a deep kick. Adcock will pick it up. Adcock just goes. Defensively, Tasmania have looked solid They just haven't been able to keep it going. Sambrook will shift it to Morrison. Morrison will roll through a couple. Galloway to Slight to McKinley on the flat ball. Manages to shake out of the first one. Galloway again to Walton. Walton, little show, almost found a gap. Galloway, Slight, Meredith. Meredith thought about it, manages to shake out of that one. Then it will go to Fleetwood Piper. That's Fleetwood Piper with space. Can Fleetwood Piper finish? Of course he can. He will run around and make the kick easier. Said it, he needs time, he needs space. They got it, that's the result.
Very much so. Really good attack there from Black Falcons, and then you just have some great individual brilliance. And the bloke you want to finish with the ball in their hand was Kyle, and he managed to dot it down under the post. So great attacking. They've got the win behind them now, so plenty of tries to come.
So Emerging States Rugby, brought to you by Spacequake Sports and Rugby Union South Australia. It's been a great start for South Australia. 17 points up with the kick to come. They've had to work hard though. These Tassie boys really are pushing, like they're hitting hard.
Yeah, these Tassie boys won't go away either. You know, if you look at our at the Black Falcons backline right now, you've got one big ball runner in Kurt McKinley, but they're not backing off of that. They're getting up on him. They're making their tackles. But that's what happens. You know, you use him to suck your players in, and then you go wide.
Yeah, we just see the replay, and it's good quick hands from Meredith.
Very much so.
Sorry, it's not Meredith. I can't remember who it is. I think it's Timmy Dawes gets there and just delays that pass to Fleetwood Piper, and that's the room that he needs. When he's going, that's what he needs, and the covering defender. Welcome to Fleetwood Piperland.
It's always good when you have a player like Timmy Dawes on your team as a front rower. He's got a great catch pass and can really draw.
Somebody asking, how did the Northern Territory go? Kim Williams was asking that. Don't worry about it, Kim. Spacequake Sports and Rugby Union South Australia will be bringing you Northern Territory taking on Victoria Country after this one. So make sure you stick around for that one. McKinley, left-booted, sits up just outside the 22. Takes them on. Tackle made over that far side. Tassie have managed to keep the ball. Just starting to see a little bit of fatigue come from the Tasmanian boys.
No. Advantage.
Penalty advantage, and that's there.
Entry. 17, entry.
I think that's Kieran Sambrook, just picked for his angles into the ruck. South Australia 19, entry. Tasmania 0, coming up to the half-hour mark. And as non-biased as I can possibly be, Tasmania just haven't looked like they've had a finish in them just yet. They haven't really threatened the Black Falcons defensively.
Not a whole lot yet. They work around in their pods really well, but after that they don't really offer too much in attack. So if you're the Black Falcons, you just weather the storm and then work for a turnover and then you attack. But they've been hitting hard. There are going to be a few sore bodies after this game, I think.
So I think that is our first South Australian cameo. That was Naylor Timo from the Southern Suburbs Rugby Club, donning the Tasmanian. He played in that last time they were here.
Oh,
so
really?
he's played a couple of times for Tassie. I think he's the highest capped non-Tasmanian Tasmanian.
Once a Tasmanian, always a Tasmanian.
So it will be a Falcons scrum, I think. Tassie season finished about 5 weeks ago, so it's a big ask to come back and play competitive rugby, isn't it?
Very much so. You want a bit of time away before you come back, but you know these guys have worked really hard to be where they are.
Good scrum though from Tasmania. Slight will pull it out the back to McKinley. McKinley will hit Meredith. Meredith will step back. Lots of green and yellow in front of him. Manages to make some yardage though. Looks like they're going to go near side again. Slight will find Adcock. Adcock, ball and all tackle. Great hit from Villy Vea.
No arms.
Whoa, no arms.
You right, Jenny? Nice, Louis. Come here, bro.
See whether we can see a replay of that one.
Come on, just wait.
It looked okay to me.
Yeah, happy no arms. Yep. I'm going to go
Oh,
yellow
I thought
card.
he had a go.
You happy? Yeah, thank you. It was 11, yeah?
One thing Tasmania do really well from the outside, you could say they do really well.
Captain,
Defensively, it can be difficult sometimes. They jam in quite hard. So the way we're seeing it, we get 3 passes out. They'll just bring a bloke in and shoot him in, and
It's a yellow card.
Also a yellow card for Vili
We
Vaya.
can't have that in the game.
So he'll go and sit down 10 minutes, and that'll be him for the half. So South Australia will finish the half with a man advantage.
No arms.
No arms in the tackle, fair enough. That's, you know, he's a better referee than me.
Very much so. Could have gone either way. You know, he's probably made the right decision there. But you know, and all in all, probably a pretty good hit. To be fair,
I think they just have another look at it. It's hard when you lead with that shoulder, which is what people are taught to do, is to make first points of impact to shoulder. If you hit them that hard and you can't get the arms around, it's a tough one.
Backwards.
Tassie have won another lineup. That has to be fixed at half-time for the Falcons.
Step.
Again, just that bull-nosed, one-out rugby from Tasmania. The boys who sit in the defensive channels for the Falcons will know they've been in a game when they wake up tomorrow. Naylor Timo will have a run through. Bright white undershorts, says bright yellow undershorts, another way of getting yourself noticed. He'll get his big legs going. He'll take a couple of Black Falcons defenders with him, and then we'll go out onto that far side. Holman again. The Holman and Lean have got through an absolute ton of work for the Tasmanians. Another big contact and big challenge in midfield. Near side again. Good one-on-one tackle from Adcock.
Play on. Ball's out.
Ball was out.
Ball's out.
Lean will try and get some work. That's a gigantic clean out from the boys from Tasmania.
good kick.
Looks for a little bit of space. Puts Meredith underneath it. Meredith, very good counter attack. Back 3. Meredith will give it to Gatehouse. Gatehouse will step out a touch.
Over.
Interesting chase. Just keep an eye on those two. All friendly.
I didn't think I'd have to say it until maybe the 60th minute, but that's a coach killer there. If you're a winger, you got to know your channel. And that's a great opportunity. Shawnee Meredith did really well there to catch the ball and get a lot of ground upfield.
Okay.
You want to know where you are on the field, and to go out like that is really unfortunate. But
So it's gone into touch.
I've said it, coach killer.
That's it, and that's not bad. We did get in a little bit of trouble for those of you watching it at home and didn't watch our grand final. We said coach killer numerous times, but in fairness, they were justified. Yeah, Burnside went, what, 8 minutes with 2-man advantage and came away pointless.
Coach killer.
Coach killer. But keep a tally at home if you want to. We're here all night. So the Falcons will return the favour and turn it over. Slight. McKinley. Now they're attacking at pace. Meredith, he was going to try and get out the outside. Fleetwood Piper inside. Good covering tackle. McKinley and Bartlett are there.
Vanish, slowing.
Meredith. Slight. Walton. He will just settle it down. Now there are numbers if they choose to go. Slight. Mattin. He will send it all the way out to Gatehouse. What can Gatehouse do? Can Gatehouse finish? Gatehouse will finish. Repays the coach killer in a certain, with interest.
Very much so. That's a great individual effort there, and off the back of what happened before in the last involvement, he's done really well and dotted down under the post.
Hey, just from the ARs, just your 21 is just a bit up at the rocks. Yep. That's a bit off, that's all, yeah.
It's 21 a bit up at the rocks, but that's the way it goes. And there was a danger, and we've seen it a lot, about a little bit of blinkered rugby from times from the Falcons, where they're not looking at the numbers that are open out on the left-hand side, and that time they finally got it. And Gatehouse, who was the Division 1 best and fairest in 2017, made the step up to the Premier League this year. Finished well.
Very good player, really elusive and very powerful.
Conversion successful. 26 points to 0.
they know the key now, the Black Falcons. They know you just wear them down in attack and you get your space out wide. So you work 3 to 4 rucks, and then you wait for your wingers to call the ball and you play something and you're out and you're away. It's
been a big night at the office so far for the Tasmanian boys in defence. They have worked incredibly hard defensively. And South Australia, first game in the emerging states, 36 minutes gone, and finally they appear to have they've got it right eventually. Tired kick though from Tasmania.
Scrum. Thank you.
So it'll be a scrum midfield. Huge blindside. I don't want to see them split. Two forwards. We are at the home of Richard Wosley, the Brighton coach, which we saw a little bit of back row magic from him.
Yeah, this year I think we were playing under lights at Old Coles. We're playing Brighton down here, and we actually we fell victim to one of the midfield scrums on halfway.
Yeah, if you've seen the World Rugby video of the Kenyan running off the back of the scrum, and we did it first.
Pretty much, very much so.
Early shove. Yeah, it's going to happen. Matten, he will go. Comes back into midfield. Now they're going to look to this near side. Walton, Sambrook. Sambrook will put ball in 2 hands. We'll get through the gap. Sambrook. Then we'll send it to Meredith. Can Meredith finish? Oh, flag goes up from Mark Pickard. That was close. He's got a much better view than we have, but we will have another look at it. Sambrook, ball in 2 hands. You've got to. People can't commit to you. Oh, it's hard to see.
That's a tough call there.
Excellent feet from Meredith. We'll take Mr. Pickard as Tasmania will clean it out. We'll just see whether we can find it and have another look at it. It's hard to see that line as well, though. Oh, if that bald gentleman wasn't there, we might have seen. Galloway shakes away, loops it out to Meredith, to Bartlett, and then back to Gatehouse, and Gatehouse will reverse back in. Galloway to Slight, into midfield to Morrison, and hit very, very hard by Timo. Now Slight will look for a gap and find a gap. Floats it out to Fleetwood Piper. He will score again.
Tell you what, there's going to be a few sore Black Falcons bodies tomorrow morning, because they are absolutely flying in.
That is one heck of a challenge from Naylor Timo in midfield. South Australian boys, pick me, he said.
Yeah. On one side there was, one side there wasn't, but it's still.
And Fleetwood Piper with his second try game on the hat trick. Not unusual territory for him.
Not very much. So anything from the 15-metre line to the touch line is his domain.
Right on the touchline for Chris Slight for the conversion.
Well, thanks.
It has been a bruising encounter. David Allo Emile. Finally got his name right. He's not playing anymore, and I finally get it right.
G'day Dave, hope you're going well. Would have loved to have seen you in the Black Falcons jersey, but there's always next year.
There will be a next year. Hopefully there will be a next year. Let's make this happen. Slight will send it off. Just pull it. I want to have a word with the cameraman down the bottom, not to set the flash off just before he kicks. But that is half time. 31 points to 0, South Australia's way. Your thoughts on the first half, Alex?
Really exciting rugby, I think. A lot of good attacking play, but Black Falcons have really had the edge on them. really strong running from Tasmania. They're really good, the one off of the rucks, but you can only do that for so long before you really need to bring your backs into the game, and they haven't quite done it yet. They get a lot of ground from their forwards, but you really got to help your forwards out by, after those 4 or 5 phases, is being able to go the backs and attacking. I can't really fault Black Falcons too much. Set piece to an extent. I think their lineouts could tighten up a little bit, but apart from that, they're starting to get their rhythm going. They're working hard around the rucks. They're really bringing in Tasmania tight, and then they're playing wide. And when you've got Gatehouse and you've got Kyle on the wings, plenty of opportunities to score tries.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Alex and I are just going to take a step away. We'll have a very short break. We can't wait to see you again for the second half. And don't remember as well, on Rugby Union South Australia, brought to you by Space Wake Sports, Northern Territory will be taking on Victoria Country after this one. So a night chock full of rugby. Don't worry about Collingwood versus Richmond. That's not important. Make sure you stay where you are. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second half. We had a little chat at half time, and I think we are in consensus that the lineup needs fixing for South Australia. We appreciate it's difficult, but when your lineup core is Walton and Sandbrook, they've played together all year.
Very much so, and being an outside back, I'm probably the most qualified to talk about lineouts. But, you know, you got to hit them. You're getting a lot of opportunities here, and hopefully it can change in this second half.
So, Tim Mattin will sit under it. Thought about passing. That's probably the longest amount of time that he's ever thought about passing, in fairness. He'll put his head down and he will go. Slight inside ball. Met man and ball again. They will know they've been in a game. I think Kev Beckett's going to have his work cut out for him over this weekend. Walton, flat ball to Campion. Got it, second time of asking. Thought about the offload. Galloway. Find McKinley. McKinley will send it to Morrison. Slight. Receives it, and then we'll give it to McKinley behind Fleetwood Piper. Stopping him in his tracks. Not for the first time we've seen that this year either. Adcock. Penalty. Just straight over the top.
Get it. Go on your feet. Number 5, down ceiling.
Number 5 down ceiling. That's
Number 5,
Jeff.
he was in a good position to get the ball.
Alto
but he
Anu.
just went straight
Sorry,
down.
Jeff. That's the
So
first
once
time you
you're
get your
down,
name
you're
called tonight. It's for a penalty. Well, that's. You can say it if you want.
Yeah.
It definitely is a coach killer, but at the same time, it's really difficult. If you've got the leg that Kurt McKinley has, it's really hard to contain it. You want to, you go, you know, you're at hole 3, you know, it's only a par 2, but you want to get the driver out.
Yeah.
So it's hard to contain yourself there. But unfortunate for him, but yeah, that's a coach killer.
You don't want to be coming back for a scrum here. What are we on, like 5 now, coach killers?
Oh, tonight just 2.
Just the 2 coach killers tonight.
The line-out collectively is a coach killer.
Hashtag coach killer, ladies and gentlemen. So Tasmania, lots of room to work with. Good solid scrum from the Tasmanians. Little pick and go over on that far side, just to try and give themselves a little bit more room. Flat ball, slow loopy ball. He does well to get something out of it. Now they look to go into midfield. Dropped it cold. McKinley will pick it up. Is there a counter-attack? Bartlett. He will try and find a way around the outside. Offload to Gatehouse. Gatehouse puts it on the boot. Horrible bounce for Bully Ruarua, another Southern Suburbs player. Oh, they do have someone back in the pocket. Nice and simple. It's going to drop on the head of Galloway.
He's on.
He's got Meredith in midfield. Meredith has Fleetwood Piper. Now they're starting to look. McKinley. No space in front of him, so he decides to go. Had a look for whether there was any acreage for that left boot to swing into. Good reset from the Falcons. Adcock. Got himself a little bit isolated, but it's come down. But it's slower than they would have wanted. Walton fires it out to Gatehouse. Gatehouse, he will run back inside. Tried to find a little bit of a gap. Almost found one. Still going, Gatehouse. Short ball to Morrison. Galloway does well, has a little bit of a snipe, can't quite find the gap. Then Galloway will look to the right to Campion. Slight, I don't know which way that's going to go. Big collision. Just trying to see who the slowest getting up was.
And your player's still taking him, sir. You've got to ask questions, sir. You've got to ask. Of course you do.
You've got to ask. But you don't,
Because they both
really.
stopped and then let it go.
I think Chris Slate did like the gentlemanly thing. He tried not to get his runner killed, but got him killed anyway.
Yeah, very much so. You don't want two blokes in the same hole.
Certainly not.
Let's go, boys. Big push. Search.
Tasmania again will just look to try and get out. And it's not bad for Tasmania because it's 50-50 at the moment who comes down with that. So is that Dane Keeper who's come on? He's another he's another Southern Suburbs player. Matt Mooney is watching. He won the tackling trophy in Division 1. Matt Mooney, congratulations.
1 from 1. Congratulations, brother.
Never missed one. McKinley. Oh, a little show and go. Found a little bit of room on the inside. Slight. Walton. Walton shows, then goes. Almost finds his way through the gap. Galloway finds Adcock on a nice inside line. Galloway again. That is a massive tackle from the big fella. I think that's Anthony Lean again. Knocked on. With the knock on, Matt Mooney saying great golf analogy. I have to agree with him. I've never heard of a par 2 hole, to be fair, Fuller.
Par 2, yeah.
What kind of golf courses are you playing on, mate?
The ones where you pay $8 and you get a pink ball.
The old crazy golf. And if you've got a driver at one of them, mate, you're playing the wrong sport.
Real unfortunate there for Black Falcons, but I think if you watch it back again, if you have one runner hard at the line, you're defensively it's an easy read. You need to have 2 blokes at the line, and you pick one of the 2. That's how you break the line and bend the line.
It has been very one-out rugby at times from both of them, really, Tasmania and South Australia. Slight, McKinley has the runner out the back to Meredith. Meredith will give it to Fleetwood Piper. Hat-trick time. It won't be his first and it won't be his last. Looked like there was a suspicion of forward out of the hands from Meredith, but got away with it. Quick hands. No, it might be okay. The AR is in a much better position than we are.
Very much so.
We had an inside line then from Bartlett, and we went behind him. Exactly the same. It's got to hold those defenders. If they give that ball to Bartlett, the defenders are ready. And exactly the same principle off the back of the rock.
It's the only way those moves work. Everybody has to be in movement. You've got to be calling the ball. That's how you get defenders in a second mind, and that's how you hold defenders, and that's how you free up space there. Really good ball from Sean Meredith to Kyle there, and you got the best finisher in South Australian rugby.
Well, I think Tremaine Butler might have a little bit of a case to answer on that.
Yeah, that's fair point. It would have been great to see him on the other wing at some stage. Obviously, Gatehouse doing a great job, but you know, I haven't seen whether he's in the Black Falcons squad.
I don't know whether he made the squad or not.
No touchline camera, so he's not really going to get the
exposure that's true,
after.
That was part of his contract. He'll only slotted that one over. 38 points to 0, 48 minutes gone. So they should be back to a full complement of 15, Tasmania. See the return of the orange boots of Atalio. I'm not sure whether there's been any changes for the Black Falcons so far. It's 3 games over the weekend, so we're going to have to work. Oh, Campion worked out well, Walton. Galloway ducked out the first tackle, then lost it. Opportunity for Tasmania if they want it. Timo runs through the first tackle. Now they're going to come near side. Little bit of a gap. Can he get his arms free? He can get everything free. Over he will go. Anthony Lean gets the try that Tasmania probably deserve, and definitely he deserves.
Very much so. A lot of great work there, and finally they're getting some pay. A lot of pressure off the kickoff, force the turnover. Try time.
Turnover try. I was about to say, it is a long weekend for every single one of these players. They're all going to play 3 games, and if they're all as tough as this one, I would expect a couple of sickies next Tuesday.
Very, very much so. It's a tough one there because looking at the scoreboard and the time and how much time we got left, you've got to start getting your bench on. You've got 3 big games over the weekend. You've got to start trusting the bench and getting on. If you've got a lead like this, you can play a bit smarter. You can play field position, but you've got to tackle too.
I haven't seen much by way of even a threat of a change from the South Australian side. The Tasmanians, on the other hand, have been quite proactive with it. So Josh May will take the shot at goal. Oh, he took his time and he pushed it. I think
may have taken too long.
I think so. Carl Fleetwood Piper kind of stopped and went, "What do I do now?" I think he could have run up and taken it off the tee. Was a good try from Tasmania. We will give them that, and they've deserved something. They've worked really, really hard throughout the 50 minutes that we've seen.
No, they've played some really good rugby, and they've been linking their phases together really well. It's just unfortunate that, you know, when it's been time to go out wide, they haven't really had that push.
Deep driving kick from Galloway allowed it to bounce. That's some trust in that rugby ball. He'll just put his head down and try and get a little bit of yardage forward. There is certainly life in this Tasmanian team. It's a fairly big mountain to climb, and they've at least taken the first step. Out to that far side, short ball. The question is fatigue as far as the Black Falcons go. I think we saw it a little bit, and I love Timmy Dawes, but too high in that tackle and then fell off it. Does feel a little bit like a little bit of fatigue coming through. Out the back.
Carried back. 22,
carried back in. Fleetwood Piper sits underneath it.
Let's bring back.
Straight out. Carried back in, so they'll have a line out on the 22.
Just in line.
Got to get this right, Kieran Sandbrook. There are weapons. That back 3 and the centre partnership. That whole backsline for South Australia looks good. They've got to have the platform to work from.
Very much so. Very dangerous, but you need the footy.
And again, just a little bit over, and it's messy, and Tassie will turn it over again. Tasmania with the tails up. Out to that far side. Lost it though, but they will come back.
Sorry, gents, we've lost forward.
We'll come back and get the scrum.
A few teething problems there with the line out. It's a bit concerning now. You're coming into a few more big games. You got Northern Territory and you got the Vic Country teams that'll really make you pay if you don't hit your line out. So hopefully there's something we can do to fix it for the last 40.
Well, yeah, I mean, you will have looked at these, and you would have, big red circle would have gone around Victorian Country. That's probably your big one. Tasmania in Northern Territory, probably around parity with South Australia. You've got to look at Victoria and what they've done over the last number of years. Pardon you, referee. Big development in Victoria rugby-wise over the last couple of years with the Rebels and the Rising and stuff like that. So they're going to be the benchmark. These games you would think would be parity for South Australia and Tassie and Northern Territory.
I think very much so, but I think we've got the cattle, we've got the players. It's just getting them on the park and being able to perform, because they've got a lot of potential, but it's just going out there and doing it.
So Tasmanian scrum inside their own half. A little bit of misdirection at the back. Atalia will send it very nearly with the offload, and it would have been gone. If they go again. Holman, I think, with a little burrow. Just little by little again from Tasmania. Getting to this near side. Good, strong contact. McKinley has to go back and have another go. Gets there eventually. He's going to do well to get away with that. Gigantic pod in midfield for Tasmania. It's been a while since I've seen a 14-man pod. Play on. Martin snipes around the back. Ball was out. Adcock, he will look down that far side. And knocked it on. It's that patience when you have the ball. You make the turnover and then you just rush.
It's a tough one because they're showing a lot of urgency. Obviously, the Black Falcons, they're doing really well with that. But sometimes you just need to pull back a little bit, trust your structure. All the blokes out there can definitely do it. It's just sometimes don't push that pass. Just the little tight things you got to tighten up, and then, like I say, you got to do the shitters, and then you get the chance to go wide.
Do the hard yards in midfield, and the salad eaters can do something with it. So another Tassie scrum. Oh, they are going to look on this blind side. Bully Ruarua is given something to chase. Meredith has to come across. Meredith loses his footing. 2 men in attendance. Oh, he got away with it. Very well done, Sean Meredith. Martin gets there and assists. Galloway puts it on the boot. Where's the bounce going to go? That's worked very, very well for Kyle Galloway. About as good as it gets from a box kick point of view.
Time off, please.
Time off. So Tasmanian player down in midfield. Just trying to get a look who it is. I haven't quite got a number.
Sorry? Okay. All right, we've got time. Plenty of time.
I think it's his knee or something.
Coming from Timmy Dawes.
Yeah, was it Timmy Dawes?
Yeah. That's the last thing you want to see lying on the ground looking down at you. Timmy Dawes.
I think I've got something to do. It's something to do with the leg. But so you said the S word, structure. I mean, these guys know each other, but we are only what, a week, two weeks out, 2 weeks after the grand final. So it's only really been 2 weeks that these guys. So was that 4 trainings, maybe 6, that they've had together to try and really work on that structure. And you know, community rugby, you work on your structure in attack, you work on your structure in defence. You don't work on your counter-attack structure. You don't work on your turnover structure because you just don't have the time to do it.
Very much. That's why you got to be quite precise with what you're trying to teach everyone. So I think with teams like this, really short build-up into 3 games, you play a really basic structure. Everything people can pick up, and I think the Black Falcons have done that. But our issue is when we turn over the ball. And when we get the ball from a turnover, how we attack, and I think we're rushing it just a little bit.
So I think that's, I see a towel lower, just taking the knock, but he's up and about and moving, doesn't seem to be too proper either. But big line out for Tasmania, in the shadow of their own goal line. Go to the front and Walton gets a hand to it and messes it up. Oh, and an intercept.
Time off, please.
Time off. No decision just yet. Going to have a chat with Mr. Pickard.
Was it lost forward by Black in the line out? Yes. Yes.
Oh,
thank you.
And there we go. Was it lost forward by Black in the line out? Yes. No tries. Tasmania scrum.
So knock on in the line out.
That was impressive.
Really good work there from the 9 just to keep hustling up forward and putting the pressure on.
Sorry, was it in?
It's just a conspiracy theory for you that
Was a knock on in the line?
Sia just wanted to get the Naughty shorts close up. Just give a little bit of a shout out for his home club.
Sorry, go 15.
So he's going to come into the 15 and it'll be a scrum on the 15, and it's not brilliant in this light. I think it is the Dane keeper sat back in the pocket.
With me, Louis left.
Bind.
All goes in. Good shove from South Australia. Got them moving backwards. Will go out the back. Inside. Gatehouse is underneath it. Lost it. Gave the Tasmania's chance to move forward, and another loose pass gone backwards. So Fleetwood Piper, what can he do? Matt eventually.
Stay on his feet.
Tasmania again will start that long journey towards the Black Falcons try line. Lots and lots of space behind, but again, that's a big run. Fair amount of human to deal with, and there goes Sia again. Miraculous recovery from that knee injury. But a knock on, just a little bit rushed. You do get very animated when there's space behind the backsline, don't you?
Oh yeah, very much so, because everyone works really hard. You get that turnover. You've got how many points you're above by. Just take a bit of pressure off. Just put it in behind them. We've got the kickers to do it. It's just.
Or from Tasmania's point of view, you were gesticulating wildly when they turned that over and had a bit of time and space. If you can push the Black Falcons into their own 22, their line-out has been shaky.
Very much so.
You could be Tassie ball 10 metres out. So Black Falcons scrum just inside the Tassie half.
9, stay.
Martin will pick and go, step back inside. Oh, very nearly got himself isolated, but the Falcons have managed to sort it out. Now they have numbers. Campion, Adcock, Gatehouse. Gatehouse will get going. Bully Rua comes across, makes the tackle. Was assisted. Tasmania line out. Tasmania will again have a defensive line out in the shadow of their own goal line. Walton did well last time to get his hand on and turn it off a little bit. This time they've managed to work it out. Big straight run. Martin did well to bring him down. Now Tasmania will look to go. Now there's time and space out there. Didn't give the pass. Came through the middle. Tassie will go again. With the half and overlap decided against it. Turned over. Now they will go. Dawes, Sambrook. Sambrook to Gatehouse. Gatehouse again wrapped up by Bully Rua. Another big hit and lost forward. And now what will Tassie do? Have the advantage. So the box kick will come. Interesting torpedo box kick, advantage over into Meredith. Meredith will send it to Fleetwood Piper. Has Bartlett outside him, just stood him up somewhat. And he is bundled into touch. Still no real movement as far as replacements go for the Falcons, and we are well over the hour now.
Yeah, it must be tough for the boys out there. You got to remember this is an under-16 carnival. These blokes are a bit older. You know, it takes a bit of a longer time to regenerate, and you've got 2 tough games coming up. So you really want to use your bench. You can see them warming up over there. They look ready to come on.
So another lost lineup for the Falcons. It's a good job we haven't been keeping count. Again, just hard-nosed, run straight. Oh, big line from Keeper. Keeper will get through the first one. Good offload inside. Just came off the shoulder, and Meredith will be able to turn it around. Keeper with a fantastic line. Knocked on. Falcons ball. We see the turnover, and finally they go a little bit quickly. Keeper just picked the line and shook himself out of it, and then almost got away from that tackle. You have to say, when your midfield is falling off tackles, that's a fatigue issue.
Oh, very much so, and you'd expect that from the blokes. It's the 62nd minute of the match. You know, they've been asked out all game, so you really got to use your bench.
So Falcons scrum inside the Tasmania half. That's not steady. Now it finally settles down. Out the back to Martin. An advantage for the knock-on, so Tassie will get another go. And there we go, 3 changes. It looks like the entirety of the front row. So 18 minutes, we're going to see a brand new front row. That's Stevanovic, Brown and France have made their way into the game.
Not coming.
Good to see some reserves on. Interesting way of doing it, but hey, at least we got some fresh legs on the field.
I mean, you do normally see it around the 60-minute mark, especially the front row, but 3 games to go. 2 games to go after this one.
Gents, we'll stand up. Yeah, you guys were too far away, yeah. Okay. Here's your mark.
I like old school scrum.
Now, of course, we must say as well that I don't have the referee's name, but Rugby Australia is sending their best to do these emerging states. And when we haven't really spoken about the referee, that probably means he's doing a decent job.
Oh, very much so. He's been great tonight.
It's a big out. Everybody's gone to the far side for Tasmania. Stacked everyone, so there's got to be someone over. Just held him up a little bit with the pass, but he's managed to wriggle his way out. 1, then 2, then 3. Keeps going, finally brought down. Inside the Falcons' half. Tasmanians are starting to really put their foot down on the pedal. Possibly a little bit too little too late. Inside ball. Another one out. Good challenge in midfield, but they do manage to get the clean out. They will go the other way. Now he will look to try and find a little gap. Door was closed by Martin. Another inside ball. It's worked well for them when they've used it, Tasmania. He's a little bit alone. I'm not sure he put his hand up for that one, but it has found its way out eventually, and it's found its way to Daniel. Playing at their own pace at the moment. That time Mr. Lean does want it. That time he puts his hand up. Another big, strong run for him. I think they breed him tough down in the Apple Island. Lovell looked for a little bit of space outside. Lean again. Oh, the old dive pass.
George Gregan.
Haven't seen that for a while.
George Gregan, eat your heart out.
Filea will look to get in. One for the cameras. Oh, and he's managed to get through the first 2. Third one gets him. Clean out is massive. Good defensive speed from Adcock, but the arm comes out. You see someone that quick off the defensive line. There's a question whether they were onside or not.
No, you got the penalty advantage.
Weber. He wanted the penalty. Wandered up. Just having the replay. Look at that. It's about as good as it gets. Fully horizontal.
New Facebook profile pic.
Oh, hopefully. We'll get a screen grab for him. Another little pick. The other thing to mention is we obviously do have our referee mic'd up tonight. Communication has dropped a little bit. Again, they will go far side. Oh, he very nearly kept hold of it. Bartlett will turn it over though. Can they go? Meredith puts it on the boot. Charge down. No advantage. The knock on.
Yep, subs.
My bad.
Unlucky.
So about 13 minutes left. Push stoppage time. Good old red time.
So you're just outside the 22.
38 points to 5. on the Wojtek scoreboard. Didn't realise we were on the Wojtek scoreboard tonight.
Just on my left, man.
Comes from the halfback, is still there though. Still trying to bark it out in direct traffic. South Australia have the ball.
9, stay. Off the leg play.
See that more and more nowadays, don't we? The number 8 pickup just to try and get a little bit more time and space. And Blair Marshall, that's your first introduction to the game, Mr. Marshall. It's could be better.
16.
Unfortunate for him, yeah, he's right at the feet there. Hopefully he'd warmed up his hamstrings before, but unfortunate pass for him in his first involvement.
I meant to say before, Timmy Matton, God knows when he made his Black Falcons debut. I don't think it would have been the year 2000 yet. It's like he's been playing for a while. It would have been early 2000s.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, definitely.
James, early, flat.
Free kick Tasmania, what can they do? Short ball. Edging closer again. Big calls of trying to get that defensive movement out to that far side. Looks like they managed to slow it down enough though. Tasmania, lean. Straightens up. Little step back inside, good offload to keeper, just couldn't get there. Bartlett runs a long way across, trying to find a little bit of a gap.
Gents, no advantage.
No advantage for the knock-on.
So, just not stable. Oh, okay. You guys got to hit and hold. Just keep pushing there.
We're almost entering the last 10 minutes of this first game of the night. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, it is not the end of the night. Northern Territory will take on Victorian Country, the Barbarians. They'll be next on Space Quake Sports.
Leave the 8 and 9 punch scrum. That's my man. It's my man. Steady. Great.
Martin again off the back. Dragged down. McKinley sat in the pocket, but again they decide they're going to run it from the shadow of their own post, and they've coughed it up.
Gents, no advantage. Come forward.
I don't know whether it's because I'm old-fashioned, I don't know whether it's because I'm from the Northern Hemisphere, but 10 metres out and a boot like McKinley, let's just get out of there. Let's play our rugby in safer areas, because that was very close to going to a Tasmanian hand.
That's a tough one there, because if you're going to roll the dice like that and play wide, firstly you've got to catch the ball, and secondly you've got to try and make the same amount of ground that you'd probably get from a kick. So, you know, obviously it's great to see some running rugby, but you want to see smart rugby as well.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose with a lead, a 33-point lead, you can have a run around, I suppose. I am a purist though. Ball is out. Now they will counter attack. Can he find a space? Good tackle from behind. Black shirt streaming forward. Brown will pick it up. Stanojevic. He will go across halfway. We'll have the numbers on the near side if they can get it out. Plummer has entered the fray. Gives it to McKinley. Short ball to Mann. Just everyone looks tired now, but there has been some changes. Plummer has come into 10. Gary Mann is out there wearing the number 6 shirt. Blair Marshall is out there. That's 6 changes. Just the 2 more, I think they would have. But you know what? We did slightly criticise South Australia for not making the changes, but they did make the changes on the hour mark, which is about where you would normally think it. I just think that we were watching such a solid game of rugby and such a tough game of rugby that, like, the empathy in me was like, geez, these boys need a rest.
Yeah, I was more of an armchair critic there, just saying, I think someone just give these blokes a spell.
Yeah, and that's made an absolute mess of that scrum. But yeah, you know, I think if we got into sort of 70 minutes without a change, then yeah, the criticism would have been completely founded. But the hour mark is about when coaches start making those changes anyway.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You get to 70 minutes, I think the players on the field are probably going to criticise you more than the people off the field about not making the changes.
McKinley just lets an absolute beast go down into an assembled throng down there on the left-hand side. The noise you might have heard was them hoping someone was going to catch it, and no one did. I think they are the Brighton boys down there. I think I can see one Tremaine Butler down there in the group.
It's actually funny because they're still celebrating from 2 weeks ago.
They haven't stopped.
Haven't stopped yet. They actually haven't moved.
Oh, the gaps are open for Campion! He will go over. Jack Campion will score. What a popular try that is. Don't think he scores very many, does he?
No. I think it snowed more times in Adelaide than Jack scored tries, so he'd be happy with that one, and we're all happy.
Just opened up for him. Goes to the two. Everyone left him alone. He just turned around and went. Good finish as well from the young man. Good finish from him. Well done. One of the better finishing dives we've seen this year.
I think I remember at All Coles we practiced that one a lot, and it never really came off. So I'm happy for Jack that he's got that channel to work through and score that try.
That's an interesting one. As to, you know, how that space appeared. So Plummer, he will set it on its way. Pulls it to the left. So Tasmania, I don't know, did he sell the dummy? No one engaged in the maul, so you were suggesting there might have been a little bit of an accidental offside, but still, the ball doesn't move and Tasmania didn't.
It's a tough one because I think they were looking for the handoff from Jack, and it just didn't happen.
No. Oh, well done, Mr. Campion. Another deep kick. Martin overhead. Friday night football. Morrison. So Ashenford has come into half-back as well, and Marshall will shake through. Throws a dummy. Marshall on his way. Finds a bite. Keeper comes back and makes a tackle. Can his support get there? The support gets there eventually. Logan Brown finally gets there. Goes into half-back. Man will look to go through. Looks to offload. Does offload. Martin is there looking for his second try of the game. Ashenford to the left to Campion. To Gatehouse. Couldn't finish. Bully Rua is there. Ball has popped out. I'm going to have a chat about it.
Yeah, kicked in the ruck by South Australia.
Kicked in the ruck.
So penalty. Yes, thank you.
Kicked in the ruck, so penalty, and that will relieve all the pressure for Tasmania. Tasmania into midfield, and like they started off, they're just doing it, and another turnover. Brown, he probably did play his first Black Falcons game in the 90s. Plummer just finds a gap. He will go straight through the gap from Plummer. Target the tired players. He will go under the posts. Another try scored.
No. The ball was stripped out before he made it to the ground.
It is the Brighton mob down to the left-hand side, and the Brighton player scores in front of them. So just saw a gap, took it.
Yeah, just in line with the black dot, yeah.
Good finish from Plummer in the old C sign. So Plummer looking to convert his own try. 3 minutes and change to go. That one will go over and push the score out. Well, they will hit the round 50. 50 points to 5.
Hey. No,
So as
I
we get
can't.
into the final stages of this one, Alex,
Need at least a cut for that.
it's difficult. Just the best on ground for both sides. If you, I just throw you under the bus with it. Campion will rise and finally get hold of it. But
It's a tough one. I think Tim Matten's done really well with his go forward. Hasn't shown his age at all.
I think he's ageless, Tim Matten.
Very much so.
And as we speak of the devil, he will go through the gap. Offload to France. France looks to go back, and keeper managed to get a hand on it. As far as the Tasmanians goes, I've been very impressed with Anthony Lean and also James Holman. Both of them have just put in an absolutely gigantic shift tonight.
I think they've done really well, Tasmania.
And as we say, that Holman with Lean. Oh, the big dummy! Lean was in attendance with him. Now Gatehouse is going to go. He will try and find a little bit of room outside. Can't find it. Corralled by 2, taken into touch.
Done, minute.
When is the next game? The next game is basically straight away. It will be at 7:30, so it will basically be due to kick off at 7:30. It will basically go on straight after this one. Who is playing the Northern Territory will be taking on the Victorian Country Barbarians. Please stick around for that one. We'd love for you to stay with us. The Emerging Championships brought to you by Rugby Australia, Rugby Union South Australia, and of course Pacebreak Sports. Oh, little push. Ashenford thought he was going to get away with it, didn't. But then we go into the weekend as well. Tomorrow the Rebels Rising are playing against Queensland Country at Southern Suburbs Rugby Club. That one will be Fox streaming, I think, of doing that one. So that one is definitely sent our way and only just missed us. We're always close. I did panic a little bit then, Buller, I'll be honest with you. Then there's 2 more games on Sunday.
No, because it's
If you can bring up who's playing on Sunday and Monday and what games are on there, that would be great. Yeah, I was going to say, Richard, there is no need to shout, but thank you. So Tassie will go to the front. Off the back, Griffiths has moved back into half-back. Bully Ruaroo will have a run. Campion will bring him down. Options left and right. The dangerous duo of Holman and Lean were over here. That one's gone forward. So tomorrow, and that is full time. So congratulations to the Black Falcons winning that one 50 points to 5. We'll go through the weekend's game when we come back in the next one. We do have to change over, so we're going to step away very, very quickly. We'll see you again very soon.
Cheers.